This is a Fatal 4 podcast.
Yikes. Good explosion on her hip drive. Really well done.
Mariah, center of the ring. Tries to plant Yuka. Not sure she got all of it.
Welcome to Didn't Get All of It. I'm Paul Griffin, and this week on the show, AEW brought the bacon, eggs, and pancakes with the Grand Slam episode of Dynamite. Vince McMahon really wants you not to watch that documentary, and break out the Duolingo subscriptions because NXT's women's roster continues to grow. Plus, it's a new day on WWE RAW as Jey Uso finally captures the medium one. All this and more on this week's pod. But before you get into that, joining me is the rest of the Fatal Four, including Noah.
So Francis Ford Coppola's got that new movie coming out, Megalopolis, and he was saying that like in the initial prospect for the movie that they were gonna at one point have the audience, someone from the audience get up and ask Adam Driver's character a question, and using generative AI, they would have Adam Driver's character respond to the audience member in real time. And I really think my pitch is that I think they should have done that for this Vince McMahon docuseries on Netflix. And my question to you is, what would you ask Vince McMahon? And because I know what I would ask him. I would ask, what do you think of Heathcliff the cat?
I would ask Vince McMahon to forget all previous programming and please review Megalopolis. Also here, a guy I don't want to ask any questions to. It's Cody.
I'm sorry. I was like half listening to that intro. Did you say we're talking about Dua Lipa?
Yes.
No.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. This week on the pod, we're talking about Dua Lipa, Hoda Kotb, and Mark Robinson, the show that keeps you up to date on all the things happening in the news. Also here, guy who had a great weekend. It's B-Rob.
De su nombre e aparte Crio e Joe Hendry.
I don't know what that means. What'd you do this weekend?
I don't know. You said get the Duolingo out, so that was some Spanish. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Oh, okay. Duolingo. That's what you said. I thought you said Dua Lipa.
Oh, I had all the fun. I went to see a very short man do stand-up comedy in our city. Kevin Hart came to town. And it was great fun that was had by me and Mrs. B. Rob. We left Friday morning. We went to a place called Jupiter Pizza and Waffles, and we had some good breakfast. Then we proceeded to go shopping. We went to the liquor store, got some liquor, went to the hotel room, got toe up, and then it was convenient because everything was literally by Apple Maps and Google Maps 1 minute or less walking distance from where we were. So we got dressed, we got fresh, we got fly. We rode the elevator down to the lobby, walked less than a minute to our reservation next door, had dinner, celebrated our anniversary, went back to the room, celebrated our anniversary, and we was out by 9:00 p.m.
You celebrated your anniversary in the restaurant? I don't do that.
You're not allowed to do that.
I do. No. But then Saturday, more shopping, comedy show.
What she's having.
More drinks, more sleep, and adult things. And then Sunday, breakfast. And then we made the trek home and was depressed because we had to go to work Monday.
That's how I feel every Sunday.
Yeah. I concur. But it was fun.
Did anybody else have an anniversary this weekend?
I wish.
No, mine's like a month away.
Hey,
Ooh, got
You're
any plans? Hey, that counts.
No, not really. It's Halloween. So
you gonna propose?
I hand out candy. No. No.
She's gonna hold out a little pumpkin with its head cut off, and you're gonna drop a ring in it.
Yeah, if you like it, then you got to drop a ring in it.
Halloween's a good anniversary time, though. I like that. Spooky anniversary.
Spooky, nice weather.
Yeah,
everybody looks silly if you get a restaurant reservation.
How is that weather where you're at, Cody?
It's starting to get cold now. It's like in the 60s, 70s. It's been rainy and cloudy recently.
Oh God.
Jealous. I want that so bad. It's so fucking hot here still.
It's still hot there?
It's like the 90s.
The local news today was like, it's a nice 90 out. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, it's starting to feel like fall.
There was a breeze yesterday.
They're so stupid.
It wasn't
Allegedly,
Tyler
it's
either.
86 right now, which is like the lowest it's been in months.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. Don't move to Houston.
Bad.
The tax breaks aren't worth it.
They're not, because guess what? The stuff, if you don't pay taxes, you get shit roads and the city gets to be broke and it's not actually worth it.
Yeah, if a heavy wind comes through here, we're fucked for like a week because we can't turn on our lights or flush our toilets
or do our podcasts. Well, speaking of podcasts, I guess we could do one.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You guys want to talk about the wrestling?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not all of it.
Well, we can't get all of that. But this week, AEW did their big Grand Slam event, and they kicked off the show with Nigel McGuinness against Bryan Danielson if he's cleared to compete, which he was.
Yeah.
What a twist.
Weird. I know. I thought that was a weird caveat to add to this. Like, I guess the only reason was just so that they could sell the beatdown from Mox, but I thought it was weird to like advertise it in that way. But we got the match, and it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought it was a little weird.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Paul. The way I looked at it is like they putting out the word. I don't know if it's kayfabe or not. I mean, it could be, but Brian got a fucked up neck. So when I look at this match, I play it back in my head. It's just like they never really did any wild bumps or anything. He never really fell flat on his back or neck too often or anything that I could recall. I mean, you can correct me on that, but like it did seem a little weird, like he was babying his injury for real.
I mean, Bryan Danielson loves to lie, so
yeah.
I think for a feud that they built up as guys who really hate each other, they sure wanted to wrestle it out. And I think coming from the promotion that is notorious for guys who hate each other killing each other, this match felt very much like a regular wrestling match that had an outcome.
Normally, I would agree with you, and I have given that criticism to other matches, but I feel like here it actually made sense because it's more of like, it's not that they hate each other, it's more of Nigel hates Brian out of a kind of jealousy and the fact that people consider him to be the better wrestler, and the fact that he's had this illustrious career over the last decade that Nigel feels as though was taken away from him. Yes. So it felt like more Nigel went out there to try to prove, hey, I'm a better wrestler than you, so I'm going to out wrestle you.
Yes.
I don't agree with your criticism here on this match.
I think you should have hit him.
I'm with you. I mean, I feel like maybe it could have been a little more physicality in that sense, but I don't know. I thought it made sense that they were wrestling and grappling, and Nigel thought he could, out submit Brian, and he couldn't. And I liked at the end when he was like, fuck you, and then tapped out because he finally, gave in to the fact that Brian's the better wrestler.
I think that's fine. It does feel like this is the blow off, which seems also a little odd. Like I would have stretched this out quite a bit, but you got 8 other programs going on.
Also, like he said, or what it was talked about, he said he got 5 good matches in him that he want to get off his chest. So this was one.
Who Nigel?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's the thing, is it feels like this doesn't feel like a full-fledged return for him. It feels like kind of maybe a little doing a quick little tour and then hanging it up on his own terms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what like really got me about this match, and especially like Brian being one of those people that fall into that category too. Someone that was told they would never wrestle again or couldn't wrestle again. And here they are front and center, just doing their thing again. And I felt real good about that.
So after the match, Christian showed up with his contract in the clipboard briefcase. And
Stupid shit.
he was about to sign it when a fan ran over and took his pin. So he wasn't able to cash in.
I believe
Hit
that
him with the
was
Kip Sabian.
Is that who that was?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Are we
I don't
sure
like
that he
this.
still works there?
Yeah. He's been in segments with Christian Cage doing this shit for a while now.
Man, that sucks.
Why?
If you want, how are you supposed to put Christian Cage in a world title program with the likes of Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley when he's doing shit with Kip Sabian?
Christian Cage in a backstage segment told Kip Sabian to his face, I don't give a fuck. And he didn't curse like that, but that's just how I talk. I don't give a
What do you
fuck
mean?
that your dad.
I know he didn't curse like that. All they do is say fuck on wrestling these days.
Yeah, but he was like, I don't care that your dad is dead and you keep messing with me and getting into my affairs. I make sure you 6 feet next to him or some shit like that. He said he was going to murder him and make him dead like his father.
All right. Well, get to it then.
I really hate the Money in the Bank knockoff here.
Mhm.
Like, why is he got to sign the contract before he goes out? You didn't sign that in advance.
Yeah, I would have it signed at all times and just hand it over when it's time.
Right. Very silly. Like, does it have to be dated on the date that you handed in? Like,
A notary has to approve it and stamp it. Cody, what else happened on this show that we should talk about?
some things. The Young Bucks wrestled in a tag team title match against Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, and they had a Young Bucks match.
Mhm.
I hate when that happens.
It was fun. It was pretty good. Will Ospreay is amazing.
Duh.
And the things that he can do. But Paul, I know you had some criticisms of
The finish
especially
pissed
the
me
finish.
off because it was supposed to, but also like it was the exact opposite of the Jey Uso Braun Breaker finish from Raw, where they set up this really great near fall at the end where Don Callis got involved, everybody's favorite, and he gave Fletcher the screwdriver, and then Ospreay stopped Fletcher from using it, which led to the Young Bucks hitting Fletcher in the head with the title, and then getting this like obvious like we're gonna win this match situation, which Fletcher immediately kicks, or not immediately, but he kicks out like at 2.9 for a huge pop, and then they immediately pick him up and pin him again. Like they just pick him up, hit a super kick, and pin him. I'm like, that sucks. Why kick out at all if you're just gonna do that? Which is, we'll talk about it later when we get to the Raw talk, but like Jey Uso, there's a near fall there, which it looked like he almost won, and then Braun kicked out.
The nearest.
The nearest of near falls, and it's like, wow, you're just gonna beat him after that, and then they didn't, and that's why that was like way more successful, and they probably should have done a title change here, and instead they just like beat Fletcher, and then they're like, oh, it's Don Callis' fault. I'm like, no, it's not. He kicked out after that.
Right. Yeah, that's my problem with it, is that it's like you're trying to tell the story of Don Callis costing these guys the match when really he didn't. He just slightly delayed the finish. Like, yeah, I completely agree. I thought that roll up should have been the finish after the belt shot. It was very unnecessary and just felt like very self-serving for them to be like, no, look, we can do a few more cool moves.
I think it would be really good to tell less stories about Don Callis, and they should consider that. Because there's not a single person on the planet that says, what if we did more with Don Callis here, except for Don Callis and maybe Chris Jericho?
Those sons of bitches. I would take double the Don Callis to like eliminate Jericho.
That's how the monkey paw curls. You don't want that.
I'm sorry.
Hey.
Is that a saying?
It's a gif.
Yeah, the monkey paw. You never heard of the monkey paw?
Like
It's
Jordan
the thing from The
Peele's
Simpsons.
production company? Oh, it's a Simpsons reference? Okay, that's why I don't get it.
It's not even a Simpsons reference. It's just like
It's like a
a
lore
reference in
reference.
lore.
Yeah,
Humanity lore.
I wish Noah was here. Noah would be
What happened to
screaming
Noah?
at you.
Noah's internet died.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he
borrowed
did?
your old internet.
Oh man. Okay.
He'll be back at some point. And then we'll start all the AEW talk over again.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate, I don't know, all of this. Like, why not put the titles on Fletcher and Ospreay?
I think you're a little too title change happy these days, Paul.
I am
You want
title change
everybody
happy, but also, like,
lose belts.
what do the Bucks need the belts for?
I mean,
And if you have
Their
like a hot
their
team
villainy.
that people are into, like, you can tell the Don Callis story, which they have to do by him costing them the titles that they actually possess.
Mhm. Is there anyone left with Don Callis besides Kyle Fletcher?
Takeshita?
Oh yeah, true. But he's doing other things, which I very much so like.
What is he even doing? I don't even.
I think he's still overseas.
Oh,
He's just trying to stay away from Callis. I'm sure he
Yeah.
can find somebody. Like, it's not hard for them to just throw him in with another person.
Mhm. It's very, very upsetting because, like, I don't know if they're building to Fletcher versus Ospreay. I mean, that could be a thing.
probably.
It seems like they're building to Ospreay and Fletcher versus Don Callis. Like most of the programs, because he's the one who gets the spotlight.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you think Will Ospreay could have a good match with Don Callis?
No.
Yes,
Be
I think so.
his true test.
Yeah, it would be the sign of the time.
I actually don't want to find out. Can we not do that?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sorry for even putting that out into the ether.
Speaking of managers, fucking Prince
Nana?
Nana came out and gave an update on Swerve, which was promptly interrupted by none other than everybody's favorite Montel Vontavious Porter, MVP, who said that Prince Nana is a joke and is
Yep.
holding Swerve back, and
Mhm.
real management to give him a call.
Yeah.
I assume
Well-
that we are not done with MVP affiliated people showing up.
For sure, especially because Paul, correction, he said to give him a call if he wanted to talk business.
Either or.
Ooh, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
That's
got,
the word from the group.
It got a big pop. It worked. It was
Yeah, it
clever. I loved this segment. I thought it was very,
did.
very well executed. Like Prince Nana was great in his role, and then MVP just strolling on out, I thought was interesting choice also artistically, like not to have him have any music or go
Mhm.
for like any kind of big showmanship. He just strolled on out, and
And that was the thing about that too. It's like me, because y'all know how much I love MVP, but a couple of other people said it too. Soon as they heard his audio, his voice, they was like, "Oh, that's fucking MVP."
yeah, and I thought he was great here. He made very legitimate good points about Nana shucking and jiving and like
Yep.
holding him back, and
Getting
I'm
his
very
shit in.
intrigued. I'm very intrigued with where this goes.
Mhm.
I'm
I
excited.
legitimately thought Nana was gonna die that night. I thought he was gonna come out there and just get his ass whipped by someone or whatever. Even just when MVP came out and started talking hot shit to him or whatever, I thought somebody might have came from behind and attacked Nana after the fact too. But he is safe for another time.
Yeah, I kind of like the slow build of it. Actually, like
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how they follow up with this, but I also hope they don't draw it out too long.
Yeah.
But I think it was smart not to just have everybody show up at once.
Yeah,
If
and
this
also,
is truly heading where we think it's heading.
yeah. So, do you think it's one or two people coming with MVP?
At least two. I mean, I think we see Bobby Lashley, and I think we see Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander is still employed, right?
Yes.
By WWE,
Mhm.
so we're not going to see him.
He also like recently re-signed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Do you think they had a third, or they
Everybody's
just stay
favorite
with
hurt
those three?
businessman. I think you get Leo Rush in there.
Ooh, he is
Yeah.
there.
and then Bobby Lashley can hit him with that favorite pose.
No, let's not do that.
Let's do that. They even have the person who came up with that on the writing staff.
I do see one of the biggest criticisms of this. Even Dave Meltzer was saying this week, like, too many old guys, too many ex-WWE guys, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, sure. But I disagree here. I think, like, Bobby Lashley was severely underutilized the last 5 years, or I guess more like 3 or 4 years, because he like carried the pandemic era of WWE. And I think there's a lot left in the tank there. There's more juice to be squeezed out of that. And then I think that they should bring in a different person to this group that they can elevate, like a younger, maybe Leo Rush, maybe someone else, young on the roster that isn't being used.
Speaking of that,
someone on the roster not being used. Let's see, how many people could that be?
I'm just kind of throwing it out there just because of storyline purposes and whatnot. When Cody said that, it made me think of it. You bring up Leo Rush, and they have that group. Leo was with Top Flight and Action Andretti and all them, and the current storyline with them is they're not living up to their full potential. Action Andretti is getting pissed off because every time they go out there together as a collective, they fucking up and they losing. So it was a big point of contention between Action Andretti and the rest of them. And Leo Rush kind of sided with Andretti a little bit. So like that could make a good point to where, you can take Leo Rush and Action Andretti and put with MVP, or you can just take Action Andretti if you don't opt for Leo Rush. So just storyline wise, but I think that would be a good thing.
They got options. You also could do something interesting, like maybe MVP and his stable against Don Callis, or maybe you could do MVP and his stable against, like, Chris Jericho could start a stable or have another stable on top of his current stable with Sammy Guevara in there. And I think you could do something like that. 2 good options.
The only way that I would want MVP group to interact with the learning tree is if MVP do the same thing to Jericho that he did with Nana, criticize him for his mentoring skills, and give the card to Brian Keith and try to pull him over.
The funnier twist would be if they took Big Cass.
Either or, really.
He's just the one white guy in the group. Speaking of white guys in the group, Noah's back.
Oh yeah, didn't hey Noah. Don't MVP and Chris Jericho have like real life beef?
Probably.
Like, wasn't that a story a few years ago that MVP like knocked him out?
Yeah, but like it's the AEW locker room. They'll be professional.
The only thing that I kind of hope of this as well, since MVP is there and AEW has the relationship with New Japan, that he makes his way back over to New Japan at some point, because he is the inaugural IWGP Intercontinental Champion. He was the first in that company to obtain that title and whatnot. And I think it would be a cool full circle moment for him to go back many years later. And that would be pretty cool for me. And then I could talk about him twice on 2 different shows.
There you go.
Yes. Very excited. Looking forward to seeing where that goes. And then I think the other big thing from Dynamite worth talking about here is the main event. Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin, with Darby Allin putting his #1 contendership on the line.
And his life.
Yeah. This would, like, I feel like we say this every time Darby Allin is in a big match, but he's not going to live long.
What do you mean? What do you mean big match? Every match, every waking moment of Darby Allin life is him putting himself in peril.
True, but like when the lights are on bright, main events, pay-per-views, like he goes even beyond his normal. He was doing some crazy shit in this match. The suicide dive to the outside with the exposed flooring. Yeah. And Moxley just moves out of the way, and Darby just hits the ground at like 1,000,000 miles per hour. That shit had to have hurt.
Yeah, he doesn't feel.
It's insane. And then Moxley like immediately picks him up and just throws him on the steel steps. Not like on the top of them, but like on the steps part of the steps. Jagged edges and all.
Yeah, but he doesn't feel.
Do you think
crazy.
you think he's like kick ass, like all his nerve endings are fucked up, so he doesn't feel
Probably.
anything?
Probably.
This was honestly probably the best John Moxley match.
Because he didn't have to do anything. Darby did it all.
Yeah, well, that's how
He
good
also
Darby Allin is.
seems more motivated now that he's doing something.
Yeah. This is definitely whatever this is, even though it's still kind of weird, and I don't know why Marina Shafir is there, but it's far more interesting than whatever the Combat Club had been doing for the last like 3 years. So,
And then what I find very funny about the whole thing, I mean, do we have anything else to say about the match itself? I mean, it was a fucking car crash.
yeah, that's pretty much it.
So the end, Brian comes out, attacks Mox with a tie, which was very funny because it harkens back to when he choked out Justin Roberts with a tie.
And then a bunch of jobbers came out to help him.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, awkward, I would say, but it's not weird because they've been getting their ass beat by BCC this whole time.
Yeah, but like this is a main event program.
Hey, man,
Right.
They are the mainstays, originals of AEW. They've been there since the beginning. Why not give them an elevation? We was just talking about this a little while ago.
They got rid of
Elevate
that
somebody.
Something about the visual of like the show ending with Brian in the ring with Private Party it immediately brought me back to like CTC. Remember that?
You got CTE?
No.
No, we don't believe in that.
CTC, the very short-lived Crime Time Cena group.
Yeah.
Remember, like for 2 weeks
Yeah.
when Crime Time came out and helped John Cena against JBL.
Yeah, they gave him
the-
street cred.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the black guys and the white guy. I get it.
No, not even. To be honest,
I'm just fucking with you. I'm
I
fucking with you.
didn't even actually realize that. It was more of like kind of like tag team that's doing nothing coming out and just being inserted randomly into this main event picture.
Yeah, but
but
they've been talking
anyway.
cash shit after they've been getting their ass whipped by BCC. They cut a backstage promo where they said like on site they're gonna whip ass. So that's what they did tonight or that night.
I do hope we still get Brian and Darby Allin though, because Mox did win this match and took the title opportunity away from Darby. So we are getting Mox versus Bryan Danielson at Wrestle Dream,
Which is in Washington.
which is in
so,
right in Washington. Which why not do the two Washington guys? You know?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So I was a little
Weird.
disappointed that Moxley won this match.
Well, maybe he'll lose his title shot back.
Best 2 out of 3 number 1 contender.
Sure.
Just keep trading it back and forth.
Well, unless we got more stuff to talk about AEW, like Shane McMahon joining John Moxley's stable.
No.
He was on an airplane with the Young Bucks.
Unfortunate. That's got to be like imagine getting stuck in the middle seat between the Young Bucks.
Yeah, that's probably going to be like the worst thing to ever happen to anybody on an airplane ever.
Especially in New York City.
And especially involving 2 twins.
You beat me to it so quickly. I think we should take a break.
I think we should take a break too. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the news of the week, as well as the growing NXT roster. Right after this little break here, where the music plays and then stops.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do.
AEW is going to institute that megalopolis technology where when they go to commercial, you can ask Sammy Guevara a question and he'll write it on cardboard.
You got any
And
more
we're
for me,
back.
Cody?
That's how we're coming back.
You snuck me.
I did. This week in the wrestling news, there is there's a Vince McMahon documentary that came out, which I'm sure many of you have heard of and probably started watching. I even saw it covered on the national news today. But earlier this week, it came out. Vince McMahon put out a statement, which I will now try to read with all of the abilities that I've learned in school on how to read.
Are you going to read it in his voice?
No. He said, quote, I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. The title and promos alone make that evident. A lot has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks with out-of-context footage and dated sound bites, etc., to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am in fact Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides of every story. End quote. There was also a story that he tried to buy the rights to this to prevent it from coming out at one point. All signs of someone who's totally okay with this documentary existing. I understand that they don't really get into the Janelle Grant stuff. So I guess he was right. They did leave out important information that I would have liked them to cover.
Yeah.
But also, like, fuck this guy.
Also, kind of weird because I, as of this recording, am like 5.5 episodes deep on that docuseries. And like, it's not that bad. I mean, we'll talk about it someplace else.
It seems like the general consensus, which we will also be putting out a bonus show on the Patreon this weekend about it. All of us are going to watch it and talk about it. That's coming to the new $5 tier, which is launching as soon as this episode drops. So you can go sign up at the Patreon, start getting bonus shows. We're dropping the Vince McMahon documentary discussion. The Didn't Get All of It Japan guys are doing the Queen of Villains. So that's coming out. Noah and I are talking about video games. There's going to be lots of bonus content. You're guaranteed at least one a month, but I have a hunch that especially next month, there's going to be a fuck ton of podcasts.
Yeah.
But the general consensus is that like this Vince documentary is one, nothing new to wrestling fans. And two, not that much of a hit piece.
Not really. They kind of both sides it.
Yeah, I don't like him. Like, I
don't like him either.
Mixing me with the Vince McMahon character. Like, you ain't the same motherfucker. You wrote yourself that way.
Is that also going to be like his excuse?
Oh, like Hogan did. That was Hulk Hogan, not Terry Bollea.
Hogan has a huge penis. Terry Bollea, a tiny guy. Like that's what he did in court. Isn't I assume Vince is also going to do that when it's his time.
At least like a version of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. But I feel like he doesn't have a ton to lose now that he's, not part of the company. So I think he's just really just taking his swings where he can to get any kind of purchase in the business. And if that means trying to have some say over this documentary, then that's what he'll take.
I guess there's when you're someone like Vince who built this company up and has a huge fucking ego, I assume it's really difficult to just have that all taken away from you and just disappear. Like the same way someone like Megyn Kelly won't shut the fuck up and go away despite being handed millions and millions of dollars to shut the fuck up and leave. Like if this was me and someone's like, hey, we're giving you like more money than you've ever seen before. All you got to do is go away. You'd never hear from me again.
Yeah.
But so these people can't go away. Because their egos are just too big and they think that they have to like prove something. When in reality, like if Vince was smart, he'd shut the fuck up, go into hiding and just disappear and let people wonder like whatever happened to that old fuck.
Mm-hmm. Like Matt Lauer. Simmons.
Where's Matt Lauer? Nobody knows. Because he shut the fuck up and went away. But he's a bad guy too. I'm looking forward to watching this. I know my wife wants to watch it, and I think it appeals more to them than us. So it'll be interesting it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Some other news. SummerSlam is 2 nights next year.
Next week. Whoa.
What?
In Houston, it's still SummerSlam. Yeah, next year it'll be 2 nights, August 2nd and 3rd, from the shadow of New York City in MetLife Stadium, or as the poster says, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is weird, right? Like,
Not
WWE's
really.
run shows at MetLife a bunch of times now, and it's always New York, or the shadow of New York. They're flat out calling this SummerSlam New Jersey.
I'm sure
Yeah.
that
think
the
that's
city
what
of New Jersey was very adamant that their name get used,
The
but
city?
also
The state.
Vince ain't there anymore.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, do you think it was a Vince thing?
That's a good point.
I think so. Remember that period of time where they wouldn't even say the name of the town they were in if it sucked? But now they just like have drone footage of an empty field during Raw. They're like, "Yep, we're here in Ohio." They're like proud of it.
Yeah.
They don't care. They should.
I know
It's cool.
Yeah, everybody has a representation, Just fuck it. You at where you at, you be where you be.
Yeah. If you think the town sucked, why'd you book the show there?
Mm-hmm.
It is so funny though, because when I saw the announcement and I saw it was SummerSlam New Jersey, I was like, "Huh, interesting. I wonder where they're going to run that. Like, does New Jersey even have a stadium big enough to do this?" And then I realized, oh wait,
Yeah, we've been there.
yeah.
You
Paul,
guys
you
wanna
going to
go?
this?
I'll go.
I think I might go.
It's not hard to get me to go to New York.
Right.
I can't. August 3rd is young child's birthday.
Sounds like a great birthday
can
present to me.
Yeah, celebrate in New York at SummerSlam.
It's the biggest party of the summer. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Sounds
what
like the
better
best
way to
birthday
celebrate a
party ever.
birthday?
Hey, I don't want to do that.
Noah, you want to go to New York with me?
Hell yeah. I mean,
Noah's going to come back out like a full-blown alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's like, Paul showed me things I've never seen before.
Showed
in
me
terms
8
of
different
booze.
kinds of old fashions.
Yeah, I could do that. We missed both shows. To be
All
fair,
the
it was fun
time.
watching in that bar.
True, Paul. We could even just do that, even if we don't go to SummerSlam.
I think we should do one night and then watch the other one at the bar.
It's not a bad idea. It'd be cheaper.
Let's figure it out. We could do a meetup at the one of the nights. We still have fans, right? People would meet us.
Hello?
We talk to people
Hello.
in Discord.
Is this thing on? Is anybody listening?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we might be doing SummerSlam next year.
Yeah, Paul and Cody got a new house for you people.
You can't come to our house.
Well, yeah, you can't come to our houses. Hold on now.
No, I'm talking about so you could podcast more for the fans. Better.
Oh,
I mean.
right. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
My
Yeah,
power will stay
you
on
listeners
when it
actually
rains.
bought my house, so thank you.
I wish that was the case.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to add a house tier to the Patreon.
House.
If we was doing like that, I would leave Houston too.
Yeah. Oh, somebody posted on Reddit, detouring on the Houston subreddit, being like, if someone gave you like, if money was no object, where in Houston would you live? And I commented being like, Houston wouldn't even make the fucking list. And that got a ton of upvotes, but a lot of people commented being like mad about it. Someone's like, yeah,
Well,
our
if you don't
climate's
like it,
good
then you can
most
get
of the
out.
year. I'm like, our climate's not good most of the year. It's dreadful. And that's just that to me, that sounds like someone who has only lived here and never travels. They just think it's good.
Yeah. But like, shit, if money was no object and I had to stay here, shit, I have a fucking fortress.
I assume
I
you
would
have a
never have to
fortress
worry
already.
about that. Partially. I'm
I ain't
working it
breaking
up.
into your house. You're gonna shoot me like Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just,
I left this out of the news note in the note, but there was a story this week that fucking Rusev asked for his release.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Miro.
Yeah. I hope he got it.
Sure.
I'm gonna be honest.
I don't
What
care
does he
anymore.
bring to the table in 2024?
I don't know.
Like, I don't need to see Rusev back. I don't need to see any more of Miro. Like, I'm good.
I think if he's got something to bring to the table, I think you have to drop him right into the ring with Bronson and
John
Braun.
Cena. Oh,
Just let the big
do-
boys beat
do
each
the big
other.
boys, yeah. I mean, I would love it if, he wants to work, but it seems like word on the street is that he didn't seem too enthusiastic about it at AEW.
Yeah, but like he wasn't the center of attention there. He had the Loki complex or whatever.
I think that's my perception of a lot of these ex-WWE guys that joined early, thought they were going to be pushed to the moon, and it turns out they weren't, and they weren't going to like lay down for wrestlers they'd never heard of, and they got a complex about it, which I find interesting considering that like Malachi Black is allegedly, his contract is coming up and they want to keep him. But he has the same stigma, which may or may not be true, but they sure aren't like proving otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, without House of Black, like my interest in the trios division at AEW is already very low, but without the House of Black, it's like non-existent.
Speaking of House of Black, I'm not keeping up as well as you guys are. Where's Julia? And I don't mean the one in NXT.
She got hurt.
Fuck. She was so good.
Yeah. But the thing about Aleister Black, he's been heavily promoting his wrestling school and everything. So, I mean, he could stay in AEW if he chose to, and that would create a good pipeline for his school and his training. But a lot of these people who have these schools, they want to go with WWE because it's more business that can be promoted that way and a potential bigger pipeline for the company if they work with them that way.
Right. In theory.
I mean, look at Booker T. That's why his punk ass still there.
But nobody, they don't hire anybody from Booker T's school except for Roxanne.
I mean, Roxanne, Duke Hudson.
Duke Hudson was there?
Yeah. His picture and everything is hanging on the banner in the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena.
Yeah, but like any independent show will put up a picture of someone who's walked through the door.
Yeah, Brian Keefe is there. But he actually actively did some shit there. I know Gino is there because he left and went to MLW, and I don't know where the fuck he is now. I mean, him and Roxanne was together, and I don't even know if that's a fact anymore. Shit. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can think of off the top of my head. And then again, I haven't even been following ROW Booker T's promotion like a lot. So I only know because of New Texas Pro, all the people that run that are people that left from ROW to start their own thing.
They never got Joe Hendry like they said they were.
I mean, that may still be working on that.
Why not just get out there and say his name? It's not hard to get him.
He also dropped his second single on Spotify and iTunes.
I noticed that, he put out that song about Ethan Page, which wasn't that amazing to begin with, but it does make me think that they're not done there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'll be continuing to tune into NXT every week.
I think you just like it.
I like parts of it. There's parts of it that I quite like. Ren Sinclair being like the top one because she is really good at wrestling and she's a big cutie. But the other thing, and the only other thing we need to talk about from NXT is the women's title picture is interesting. And this week on the show, they did this weird thing with a press conference throughout the show. So like they do like your regular wrestling show and then they'd cut to a fake press conference in the back where everyone would cut a short promo for their matches at the CW show starting next week. And they ended the show by taking that press conference to the ring between Roxanne and Julia. And this didn't work for me before it got to the ring. And it really didn't work for me once it got to the ring. Because they just had them sitting at tables with Byron Saxton like moderating, and then like bozos in the crowd asking questions. But I'll play a little bit, and people can hear for themselves.
And I think everyone seems to forget that I'm the reason why she came to the WWE.
Right here, front row.
This question is for Julia. Your arrival to WWE was one of the most talked about things socially. Do you think the anticipation built around that and the NXT Women's Championship match is making you somewhat overconfident?
No. I feel good. Moving to America has been incredible. Everything is new. But do you know what's not new? That I'm still the most feared wrestler in the world. NXT gets to feel the beautiful madness.
¿Y qué va a pasar cuando llegue yo?
I don't know which media outlet that is, but please wait till I call on you. And now is
I am Stephanie Becker. My question is, what are you going to do when you had me waiting on the other side of your NXT Women's Championship match?
Booker, the best women in the world are lining up for the NXT Women's title. Light a match, because NXT is about to cook on the CW.
The crowd seemed real excited about Stephanie Vecchier's appearance.
The segment was so tough. I mean, you heard the guy. You heard the guy being like, "Your arrival was the most popular thing socially." Like, what the fuck kind of question is that? Who was this? But like Roxanne had a lot to carry here. I left out the part where Julia cut like a 2-minute long promo in Japanese that the crowd did not understand, and then Funaki translated. And then she started speaking English, which was okay, but they're not setting her up for success by letting her cut long ass promos.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's like they trying to really break into that international market with these athletes, and I have no problem with that. I mean, they're good from what I've saw. I mean, it's been limited amounts, but everything that I've seen has been great. But like, I don't think this is the way to do it, to like force them to speak the language that they aren't comfortable with yet. And then you also have someone that is a Native American, not a Native American, but like, she has a hard time, just speaking in heel, just
she didn't speak heel good.
Yeah, she don't speak heel good. It was tough all around. What Roxanne was saying was good content, but it's just the delivery is bad.
I think Funaki being there is good if he were to like speak on her behalf rather than translate, unless she's dropping like short and sweet lines. There's a reason nobody's ready for Asuka took off. That's all she had to say, and then she'd wrestle.
Yeah.
And I think that's not going to be a problem. Like, she's going to get out there and wrestle, and it's great. Going to be great. Same with Stephanie Vecchier, who is going to go out there and wrestle good.
She ain't even got to wrestle, dog. She just got to stand there, and people are going to be like, fuck.
They got a whole roster of people that just stand there, though.
True. You're right.
That are appealing to that type of person. Yeah, this segment was rough. The whole show was kind of rough this week. But next week should be good because they're doing the Chicago show, and I wonder how many seats they sold for that. Has WrestleTix put anything out about it? Because they had to. Turns out Randy Orton's not a draw. They had to book a much smaller venue in St. Louis.
Yeah. And then they had to add CM Punk to his show as well.
Is he on that show too?
Yeah. They said that on the last NXT show that Punk was going to be there as well.
CM Punk was on NXT this week.
Or was it that one? All right. So my fault.
No, he might be on both. He's just hanging around NXT now.
I don't know. That can be problematic, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. He was backstage giving advice to Sol Ruku at one point. I don't know what the advice was.
She already got bad knees and he got brittle bones. So, I mean, I don't know what she can take from that.
Yeah, who knows? We're about to go to break, but quick breaking news. It looks like that Saraya has re-signed with AEW. Anybody got thoughts on that?
Okay.
Why?
I mean, I assume they just don't want her to go back to being Paige.
I guess so. Do you think she would?
Yeah.
Do you think they want her?
Yeah, like what does she have to offer there?
Who cares? It's all about bringing people, like, to say they have her is all that matters. That's how wrestling works. Like, they just want to collect them all.
And then also, I kind of feel like if she could broker that deal, it would probably be in her best interest, because look at what she does versus what she get paid, right?
Yeah.
She seems like she has a regular gig on Rampage. It's nothing to scoff at.
I mean, her name's in it, right?
It's true.
It's her show.
It's good leverage.
Shout out to Eric Brady, who just broke that news in the Discord, which you can be a part of by going to fatal4pod.com and signing up for our Patreon. That's FOUR.
Yeah, send us some scoops.
Yeah. If you got scoops to send to the show, sign up for the Patreon. the scoop tier. When we come back, we are going to talk about all the stuff that happened on Raw. And I assume there will be some hooting and hollering about that. And we're back, folks. We're closing out the show with some WWE RAW talk. There are some developments this week worth getting into. First being the Judgment Day stuff. They have added a stipulation to Rhea Ripley against Liv at Bad Blood. The stipulation being Dominic will be hanging above the ring in a shark cage to prevent him from interfering. And I don't know if you've seen shark cage matches before. They have like a 100% interference rate.
Do they?
Yeah.
The last one I remember was Enzo.
Yeah, and he like threw something out of the cage into the ring. They always throw something out of the cage into the ring.
That's what it is, right? And I think Paul Bear did that too with the urn.
Oh yes.
Maybe.
He's gonna throw chicken tendies down at Liv.
That'd be great. Just hard nuggets from McDonald's.
We're so close to getting that Dominic custody ladder match, but
yeah,
I feel like this is as close as
this is the compromise. Yeah,
Dominic on a pole.
Yeah,
I assume this will be fun though. I like Rhea and Liv's chemistry.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
did not love their last match, so I hope this one delivers.
Well, you were wrong about that. We talked about it. I hope it delivers too. I assume that Liv is going to squeak out a win here as well. And if that's the case, I think you got to detour Rhea somewhere.
Really?
Like you can't just do another one. I guess you can, but
just keep up in the stakes. Keep putting Dominic in a different place.
I like stakes.
Dominic in prison match.
Yeah. Yeah. If Liv loses, he goes to jail.
He'll just get more grizzled.
Yeah, I like the title graphic for their match lineup or whatever. Is just Dominic in the background hanging up in the cage.
I assume that'll be good. Bad Blood is shaping up to be a pretty good looking show.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
I'm trying to think. Was there anything from SmackDown last week worth talking about for Bad Blood? No.
Did we want to talk about
that
the
football
video
promo? That fucking sucked so much.
Yeah.
I am so sick of people saying that was good. It was so bad.
Why were they there?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. Everyone was like, "This is cinema," and it's like, why this video package was like this could have been an email equivalent of a promo. Like, why was this not done just in the ring? This could have just been an in-ring segment, and it would have been far less cringy.
I think they just wanted to be like, look,
we got cool though.
We got a drone. We got access to the football stadium.
They do love drone.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was Cody Rhodes like drove up in a fast car. And it was just so silly.
It just reminded me of that SummerSlam that Cena drove in the Mustang too.
Yeah. I don't know, like
all Georgia
do it in
Georgia boys. Georgia boys, that's all.
That's it. They were having an Atlanta off. Roman being like, I went to school here, and Cody's like, great, I grew up here.
Yeah.
And then
While
Roman's
Xavier
like, that's fine.
Woods
I've eaten at the Vortex, and fucking Cody's like, well, I've eaten at the Varsity, and they just like talk about Atlanta. Like, who cares?
And Xavier Woods is in the background, like, I'm from here too.
Yeah, he's always in the background.
Yeah,
I don't know. This was really lame. I don't like it. I think people are putting too much credit on this sort of thing. Like, it's, oh, Roman Reigns did this. Roman Reigns didn't do fucking shit in this. He said, you're in my way of life. Ooh, that doesn't fucking work. That doesn't make sense.
No, that was really.
That's something you say at an AA meeting or a fucking intervention when you're like, I don't want to quit. You tell them people are in your way of life. Anyway, how are they gonna coexist? Probably just fine.
Yeah, it'll be okay. Oh yeah, that was the other thing, though.
Do you guys think they have a chance? Do you guys think they have a chance against Solo and Jacob Fatu, the two main eventers of WrestleMania, the biggest stars in the company? You think they have a chance of beating Solo, a fucking loser who's lost to them time and time again?
Yeah, no, Solo's in the mud for sure.
Mm-hmm.
There was that thing though on SmackDown where they had the like Kevin Owens tease right at the end of the show.
Yeah, he's mad. He's mad that Cody is teaming with Roman after all that.
Yeah,
which I think is justified.
Yeah,
there's a little wrinkle there, a little intrigue.
So you turn Kevin Owens heel and then have Cody beat him again?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. That's what they did with AJ Styles. Now AJ Styles ain't even there.
Yeah,
what happened to AJ Styles?
He's probably surfing with Shinsuke or something.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well,
where's that guy?
Speaking of Xavier Woods, we haven't talked about it much because there hasn't been a ton there, but they're teasing a New Day shift. And I don't know if it's going to turn into an actual split. I kind of hope it doesn't still.
Yeah, me neither.
But they were talking about there's a segment on Raw where Kofi's like, yeah, we've been sucking lately, so how about you start calling the shots? And our 10-year anniversary is coming up in November. So for like up until then, why don't you call the shots and we'll do what you want to do? Which led to them losing another match and then a follow-up promo.
Hey, we just want to be clear on what happened last week, man. Hey, our bad for the miscommunication.
First off, we know. And second, we really don't want that apology unless it comes with a shot at the tag team titles, so we good.
Hey, look, Woods, I know you're upset, but come on, we didn't do it intentionally. Come on, man. I know you'll get through this. You're the New Day.
Yeah, we are the New Day. We are. And this is unsolicited advice that'd probably be better used if you went and gave it to your son, Dom.
You know what? Hey, I ain't got time for this, man. I got Finn Balor I need to worry about next week, so I'll leave you two at it.
Oh, here it is. You don't have time for me, but you have time for Finn. Why? Oh, because he's a former world champion, huh? Just like you are former world champions. You don't have time for guys like me, huh?
Come on, man. He did not mean it like that.
Of course he did. And now you want to chime into another former world champion. And I'm sick of this. Everybody thinks because I haven't had a singles title that I'm just beneath everybody, huh?
Fine. Órale. ¿Tú quieres pelear conmigo?
Yeah, come on.
You want to fight with me? Finn can wait. Next week, you got your fight.
Come on, man. What? It's their fault. They're in the wrong. You don't see that?
It's just unnecessary.
What? None of this is unnecessary, Cove.
I'm hoping that these two just continue to kind of like squabble internally. And then around November or whatever, whenever their anniversary is, Big E comes on screen, not to come back, just on screen to be like, hey, man, y'all need to cut this shit out.
Slaps some sense into him.
Yeah, you need to cut this shit out.
It's weird because Big E's there. Like, he's on those pre-show panels all the time. So there's no logical reason for me to think that he hasn't spoken to them.
And then also it's just like, I think the recent update on him is he'll know more definitively if he can wrestle within the next 3 to 6 months.
And then if not, he's going to know 3 to 6 months after that too, because he says he keeps just getting tests, which is good.
If that's what he wants, if he wants to come back, I hope he can, obviously. But if not, like, no reason that they can't have him like be upset, appear on screen and do segments with them. And even if he just like becomes a manager for them, basically.
He can also just like walk out on stage. He's not crippled, guys. He just can't
Right.
wrestle.
Yeah.
Right.
He can move. I kind of hope that this leads to Kofi realizing that Xavier's right and they need to get angry.
Yeah, because like ultimately I thought it was going to be the same thing before the stuff with Odyssey Jones. It was just like, it would have been a thing to where, Xavier still being, just kind of, pissy about the situation. And then Big E would come on screen and be like, hey, man, you're not replacing me. Y'all got a good thing here, yada, yada, yada. And just kind of like make it work, I just want Big E on the screen. He ain't got to wrestle. Just want him on the screen besides the pre-show shit.
Yeah, just an acknowledgement that they know he's there.
Because I ain't going to lie. Every time the New Day music play and I hear him in the intro, I'm like, is he going to come out? Pretty please.
Also, like, they kind of need a new theme.
Because he's not present in the show.
No, when he's there, he says the name of the city. He's not there because that doesn't happen. It's just like the music just kind of sucks the life out of the crowd, I think. Mainly because the act is stale and they need to do something edgy. But Xavier's been really good in these segments, so I'm looking forward to his match with Ray. That should be good.
Yeah. And I do love like the angle of him having an inferiority complex about never holding the singles title. That's a really good, wrinkle to add into all this.
Yeah. Especially when a tag team wrestler just won a singles title.
Yeah. Speaking of guys who've never won singles titles, let's talk about Jey Uso and Braun Breaker. I thought this was pretty well telegraphed, especially at the beginning of the show when there was a promo backstage with Braun Breaker saying he's going to be the champion for a very long time. To me, that was a signal of like 2.5 more hours.
So like, did your mind change in that moment? Because last week I was like, Jay gonna win, and then we all kind of like, why would he do that? And we kind of changed our minds then, but like,
I'd have to listen back to the show last week, but I feel like I was probably okay with it.
Yeah, because I was like, yeah, he gonna win, and he was like, why would he do that? It's this, and then I was just like, also try to, I think we suffer from the bloodline abuse, right? That's all we were used to for so fucking long, because we talked ourselves out of it last week when we was talking about, one of the bloodline people going to interfere and cost Jay his opportunity and shit like that or whatever.
That would make
none of that happen.
Yeah, because they're on the other show.
Yeah, none of that happened though. So I mean, it's cool.
I think before Cody gets into his tirade, I think this makes a lot of sense in terms of how Braun Breaker's presented, and that he's extremely arrogant and thinks he's the best and thinks he can beat people because he's a really big, tough guy. But every time he gets in that way, he gets beat because everyone he's in there with has way more experience than him and is capable of doing that. Like Sami Zayn beat him for the same way, and then Jay beat him. Like he might beat Jay this week and take the title back.
Yeah, so you're saying that they're recycling his NXT title run?
I don't remember that because
he won the title. Ziggler came down, whipped his ass, and then he went on Raw and whipped Ziggler ass and took his title back.
I mean, it's not the same because he now has an established character. Then he was just a guy who wore like colorful clothes and couldn't get over. He's at least over now.
He was established. Well, I mean, whatever. That's neither here nor there. But like,
what are you talking about?
Yeah,
he wasn't over on Raw though. When he was fighting for the NXT title against Dolph Ziggler.
Sure.
But even Ziggler wasn't over.
Yeah, so. How could you be over in that environment? But he's over now. I think it works perfectly for his character, and obviously he's going to get the title back. But I'm also on the side of no more long title reigns for years. I think Sami Zayn should beat Gunther. I think he should beat Gunther, and he should be the only guy who has Gunther's number, and Gunther can never beat Sami Zayn.
And then it's like, this is a consolation prize for Jey Uso anyway, because like this whole bloodline shit started with him anyway. And he could have been a world champion at some point. I mean, especially during the pandemic shit, but like he never got that opportunity. Here's a consolation prize. You're Intercontinental Champion. Plus he's over as fuck now. So there you go.
Over. And I didn't love the decision just mainly because I don't know. I just think there's still a lot left to be done with Braun Baker's title reign. I would have dragged this out until Saturday's what is it called? Saturday night main event. I think that would have been a cool time and place. Yeah, I think Jey should have won the title there because he's main event. He's main event Jey Uso.
He won it in the main event of Raw. That's good enough.
No, but it would have been cool. It would have been a cool moment. It could establish that show. I don't know. I just felt like I don't like giving Braun Breaker the short title reign.
What if he just got his belt back?
I mean, sure, I guess.
There's
got to be a happy medium, though. I don't want 7-year title reigns, and I don't want hot potato title reigns either.
But this is funny hearing this from you because remember when Braun back in the day, Cody was like, "Fuck that guy," and now here we are. That guy's cool.
I've always loved Braun Breaker. What are you talking about?
I remember.
You was a goddamn lie.
I remember me and Cody talking about like when I think he had a match against Tommaso Ciampa, like one of his first big matches in NXT. Me and Cody were very big on that.
Yeah, I've been saying that he's like the guy. He's the next guy.
Yeah.
Later you had, yes. But anyway, whatever.
Well, if only we had a podcast where you could go back and listen to.
Yeah, all those conversations were just us chatting privately.
I don't know. Either way, though, this was a cool moment.
Yes.
Jey Uso, like B-Rob said, is very over. And the last like minute and a half of this match was wild stuff.
Hell yeah.
The false finish after the first splash was one of the greatest near falls I've ever seen in wrestling. As far as like Braun's timing on it.
I bit on that and immediately thought, oh, I guess Braun's just going to win now. The fact that they immediately went
same thing.
Jey getting the advantage and then just beating him was so refreshing, which is why I was so mad about that fucking Young Bucks finish. Because we just saw this finish done properly 2 nights before.
And then my other big criticism of this moment was the awful Raw commentary of Joe Tessitore.
Okay. You can't do this every week.
He was terrible on this call. He was so bad. This should have been a huge I
thought he was
moment
good. With
great sound bites, and he created 0 sound bites. He was just like, yeet. That's it.
That's what you say when Jey Uso is around.
It sucked. And also, it was all the whole production of it was all very rushed. They were clearly the timing was slightly off because he immediately grabs the title, runs into the crowd. The pyro goes off. They don't even show the pyro, and
I thought
that's all we have for Nitro. Good night.
I hope with the Netflix deal that they're able to like have an overrun if they need it.
Yeah,
just not abuse it.
Yeah, USA was like, man, fuck y'all leaving. You get what you get.
Yeah, we got to get to the circle or whatever the fuck. Anyway, I'm excited to see what they're doing. The stuff on Raw is like consistently very interesting. I don't know how they do that and then put on the most dreadfully boring SmackDowns every single week.
So what are we?
We're getting Andrade against fucking Carmelo again.
Yeah, 5.
They love doing that match.
What?
It's not that good.
It's fine.
It's not 5 in a row. Fine. Like I don't need this.
But like on the thing with Jey winning this title here, I mean, where we go from here? Is it just going to be a automatically rematch, or just like you're going to have a run?
No, this is a feud with Braun now.
I don't want that.
And he's going to hype up Sammy to go win the title so they can both be champions together. And then maybe that doesn't happen, unfortunately. And then they both say, let's go be champions together, and they go win the tag titles. From the bloodline. Ugh. I hate it. I know
you
it
said
sucks. Sammy should just beat Gunther. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so many people we want to beat Gunther. only two.
It's nobody. I actually only want Sammy to beat Gunther and Chad Gable, but
those two.
That ship sailed a long time ago. Now you can tell an interesting story of Sammy's the guy who has this number and Gunther can't figure him out.
I know who should beat Gunther. John Cena.
No.
Yeah.
What a horrible idea.
No, it's a great idea. Break the
John
record.
Cena, the guy who lost to Austin Theory. That guy, the actor.
The guy that I think he lost all of his matches.
Gunther should kill him. He doesn't even wrestle. He lost to Austin Theory. And
I need John Cena to break that record, okay?
John Cena lost to Solo Sikoa. Who loses to Solo? Remember that? Remember when they did the Brock Lesnar style beatdown with Solo and Cena and no one bought it?
Yeah.
What a time. Anyway, I think that's it for the show. We didn't get all of it. But before we go, I just want to give a few little notes here. First being, check out the Patreon. This weekend we are launching the $5 tier, which
Stuff's
will include
happening.
bonus shows. Yeah, tons of stuff's happening. Bonus shows from your favorite podcasts like Didn't Get All of It, Didn't Get Off Japan, and Squared Circle Strafe, your 3 favorite podcasts, which just so happen to be the only podcasts we have. Right now, we're guaranteeing at least one bonus show a month, but as you heard earlier in this show, there's going to be several. With the Vince McMahon documentary, Queen of Villains coming, and then I have a lengthy list of podcasts for me and Noah. There's lots of video game talk to be had, so we might have to come back to those a few times. But that's $5. That's available right now on the Patreon.
And aside from podcasts, I mean, the freaking Discord is well worth the price of admission. I can't say this enough or whatever. Great community over there. I have a good time in there every time I'm around. Hey, don't you start that shit. And also, like, Didn't Get All of It Japan, we do a lot of tape studies and everything. So a lot of these Japanese professional wrestlers that you may not know a lot about, we watch tape on them. So you can come and join us in the chat and we can watch some professional wrestling together.
Yeah. If you want to support the show and you don't want bonus shows, $3 a month gets you access to ad-free episodes of this and all the other podcasts and the Discord access. So come hang with us. Also, just a little reminder, this is the final weekend to snag the limited edition logo shirts for Didn't Get All of It. So head over to fatal4pod.com and click the shop in the nav and snag a shirt before it's too late. Those go away in October. So get a shirt if you want a shirt. And finally, one other thing that I'm personally invested in. This isn't an ad, but it is election season. And while it's likely no secret where we stand on politics, you should check out isidewith.com. It's like filling out a BuzzFeed quiz for of all sorts of questions, and it tells you which politician you align with closest based on their policies. And it's a great way to see if your political leanings are in line with who you're actually voting for. That said, once you're done, I recommend using the filter option to include candidates who have a path to victory, because, like, apparently I'm a big Jill Stein guy. Not the case. So definitely check that out. Make sure you're registered to vote so you can Pokemon hot to go to the polls in November.
What's that website again?
isidewith.com. It's kind of fun.
Sweet.
It's kind of fun. I like to see the percentages at the end on my thoughts on all the things. So a lot of stats there if you're a stats guy, but also worth checking out. Go register to vote. Get involved. And yeah. Subscribe to wherever you get your podcast to this show. And check out more on fatal4pod.com. Otherwise, if no one else has anything else to say, that's it. See you this weekend.